1 second. Perfect. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us today, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Brother Derek 4X out of Newark, New Jersey. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, sir.
This means a lot to me that you would take time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast today.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so
I appreciate the platform because we got a lot of people doing podcasts, and we don't have that many people. I don't want to use the word religious. I don't really like that word, but I'll say from, if you want to say, religious organizations, and we don't have too many people that come from religious organizations with podcasts and things of that nature that really covers the overall culture of Black folks. Sometimes we get so caught up in our religious persuasion, our religious background, that we lose touch with the culture of Black people. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the beautiful things I like about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. One thing he did, and he got mocked for in the early days when bringing Islam to Black people, was, well, that's not real Islam. And they said it wasn't real Islam because it wasn't religiously, I say it wasn't so indoctrinated from a religiosity type persuasion perspective, if you want to say. He used it from the soul of Black folks with the principles of religion, and came up with a beautiful teaching to not only teach us how to be ourselves, the way we were before we were brought to this hellhole in North America 500 something years ago, but he also kept us in tune with being Black and our culture as Black folks. And so I'm saying all that to say I appreciate this platform because you're doing the same thing. You're not so steeped in religiosity that you forget about the culture of Black people. And sometimes we do that in our religion. We separate ourselves from our other people, and we got to get out of that. So I appreciate you, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Thank everyone who's watching and continues to watch People's Podcast, sir. My first question for you, Brother Derek, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Wow. I'm a 4th generation follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the guidance of Malachi. The first generation was it's my grandmother's cousin, which is my mother's older cousin.
Okay.
So she was the first. Her and her husband was the first.
Okay.
They go back to the early, if I'm not mistaken, 50s. And then her children, then of course my mother, and now I'm here. So I've been hearing about the teachings since I was real small. I say maybe about 4 or 5 years old, in particular from my aunt and my uncle. My aunt and my uncle were heavily involved in the 5% community. And so that's the first place that I heard the teachings, of course, through hip hop, the Rakims, the Poor Righteous Teachers. And the first time I saw a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was actually in my aunt's room, in her bedroom. And she had a picture of Clarence 13X, Father Allah. She had a picture of Master Fard Muhammad, and she had a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And of course, she would teach us Islam through the lessons, and the same thing with my uncle. My uncle is from Newark, New Jersey, but he used to hang out in Trenton. That was his place. So he would go back and forth to Trenton, and he was heavy out there with the 5% community. So that's the first place that I heard of Islam in general, from our perspective, a black man in America's perspective. The first time I heard of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam in particular were from my cousin. You might know my cousins, the twins. Those are my cousins, Samad and Jihad. So they were the first people out in the projects, man, Little City projects, selling stuff with suit and bow ties. When we were little, we didn't understand that. We thought it was strange.
Yes,
But
sir.
somebody hiding in the projects, man, as far back as I can remember, was selling stuff. Okay. And
Okay.
talking like FOI, man, back when we was 5, 6 years old. So that's the first time what the hell is they talking about? But they was serious with it. And we would be playing basketball and stuff, and they would be out, man, selling water ice and keychains and things of that nature. And that's when I, well, Mom, why they do that? Why I don't want to. And then that's when she started telling about it. But she wasn't in the nation at the time. But again, just knowing how everything was raised, she explained it. Oh, and that's how I got introduced into that. My mother came to the mosque in 1989. That's the first time I was brought to the mosque. My mother came to the mosque. Of course, one of the brothers selling her paper, and she said, okay, let me come on and, because she already knew about it. Let me go in and come check the brothers out. And the first thing I remember walking up to the mosque, I think I was 7 years old. Me and my little brother. My brother was 5. And the first thing I remember that attracted me was a big parking lot. I never forget it, man. It was on Halsey Street. It was on Halsey Street, downtown Newark. And it was a big parking lot. And I saw about 150 black men standing in the parking lot, not moving, just standing at attention. And I'm walking by and I see them. And I saw real, it's like a teenager.
Mm.
How you feel? And everybody at the same time, fine, sir. And I'm looking, walking. I ain't never seen that before. I never seen that before. Press front, press. Boom, all the hands pop. And it was Brother Vertis. He was 15 at that time, I think, 16. But just a little short guy, and these big guys, and they all listening to what he had said. No moving, no nothing. Left, pace, boom. Left, pace, boom. And I'm like, man, I'm mesmerized as a little boy. This is blowing my mind.
Yes, sir.
This is blowing my mind because I'm not used to no younger person commanding the attention of grown people like that.
Yes,
the
sir.
way he did. So I'm just looking, and I'm walking, and I'm like, come on, keep up. But I'm just starstruck at that. You know what I mean? Because I've never seen that before. And we continue to walk, and the next person I walked by, a brother came running. Never seen this before. Grown man. How you doing, sister? You all right? And walked my mother and us and shook my hand. Not tapped me on my head. Hey, how you doing, son? But shook my hand like a man. How you feel today? Shook my brother hand with a firm grip. It hurted. What the hell you shaking my hand so hard? But just the respect. It wasn't like I'm son of you. No, you are a growing man in my eyes, and so I'm gonna treat you as such. And that blew me away. And like I said, I'm looking at the brother Vertis with all those brothers, and they moving at the beat of his drum, which is his voice. And then that brother run up the street. I never saw that. In my community growing up in East Orange, when you see a man running up, he gonna usually snatch something from a woman or something. That's what I was used to. But he ran and escorted and then shook our hands like men. And we walked upstairs, and I saw my mother go to the left, and we going to the left with her. No, you got to go over there. And we went to the right, and that's where we went. And the brother, how you feel, brother? Welcome to Muhammad's Mosque. They talk to me. I just need to spread your arms, leg. We in a search procedure. We spread them, and they talking to us and moving and grooving. All right, right this way. How you feel today? And so just even though they searched us, the warm greeting, they treated us like men, and we were little boys. And I never forget, man. I remember that first day like it was yesterday. They escorted us to our seats. And in those days, and you can bear witness, Brother Joshua, it wasn't no such thing as little boys and you just go sit over there with your mother or you run around playing and stuff.
Yes, sir.
You sat in front of the FOI while whatever student minister was teaching, and you listened. That's how it was in those days. And they set us in front of the FOI, And I never forget the lineup, man. All-star lineup. I remember it was Brother John. He was John 5 at the time. John 5X, now John Muhammad out in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay, yes, sir.
He opened up. And again, he running it down. And he throwing the lessons in there. Then I remember Minister Lawrence Muhammad. He came up behind him. And he running it down. Then I remember it was I believe it was man, who was it after that? It was another brother, Brother Timothy, short, light-skinned brother. I'll never forget because I had to think he was Master Fard Muhammad because he was short, light-skinned, had the wavy hair. And he started running it down. Then Minister Michael out of Plainfield, New Jersey, he got up there and he crushed it. And Minister Kader came in there and took over and stole the show.
Mm-hmm.
And man, as a little boy, that was mind-blowing to me to hear black men speak, educated, but at the same time, talk about some of the craziness that we were being subjugated to by the Caucasian in our community. And it answered questions. See, as a little boy, I would watch stuff like, why the hell am I watching Roots? Why am I watching this? They just beating and killing us. I don't want to watch it. It was just no explanation to me. We watching ourselves get abused, and then it's like some happy ending, but we never get the full story. And they was up there telling it. And so it started answering a lot of questions. And I'm like, man, wow. And then in those days, and again, you could bear witness, after all that was finished and Brother Kader closed out, we had acceptances, we had prayer. Man, I saw same short brother, had the brothers fall in. I guess that's holdback. I know it was holdback. Said whatever he said to them, they fell out, and all of them moved, not slow, sluggish. And they went and got a bunch of tables, and they set tables and chairs up, and we ate dinner. And I've never done that in my community. I've never seen that done before. I've never seen that done before. They laid out tables and we actually sat there and ate dinner. And grown men talked to me as a 7-year-old boy while we eating dinner as if I was a grown man. And that made a heavy, heavy impact on me. And so my mother was one of those stood up and accepted. And instant change, man. She came home. She ain't know I knew at the time, but my mother was a hustler. She flushed everything down the toilet. You know what I mean? Immediately, she went out and got herself a new wardrobe, and she changed our diet. That Christmas, I think that was fall. We didn't celebrate Christmas. She was what you call a fanatic. But she did it in such a loving way, and the support that I had from the FOI and the MGT in regards to just helping us transition, man, it was so strong. So even when that Christmas came and we ain't getting no gifts, we were a little down. But then when February came around, and you remember this growing up, we celebrated Savior's Day twice, in October and in February. So I remember we went to the mosque in February. This was a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but every year, even if you went to Chicago, something was done in the city. Every year. And we went to the mosque, man, and Sister Sherry Muhammad, wife of Brother Lawrence Muhammad, and other sisters had a bunch of toys and stuff for Savior's Day. Not that they were trying to, like I said, the teacher Honorable Elijah Muhammad is so beautiful because he ain't put us just cold turkey on stuff.
Yes, sir.
We always found ways, and we always had believers to find ways to make the children and stuff feel comfortable. And I explained to a lot of young Muslims today how blessed and privileged y'all know how blessed and privileged y'all are to be able to grow up and go to Muhammad universities and things like that. Because in the late 80s, early 90s, we ain't have too much of that in various cities. And so we were going to the public schools. And I remember all the fights I got in, and I'll get into that later, in public school, because like I said, my mother was gung-ho. We went to school with suits, bow ties, and briefcases. And we had to fight, man.
I can imagine.
We had to fight. But the FOI, man, they were so supportive. So supportive, man. And the MGT were making us feel comfortable and making us not feel like what we were doing was weird and strange. It was how we supposed to live. And so I'm so thankful, for the early days, Muhammad Mosque number 25, and those brothers and sisters that laid an impression on me to have me, here today. And like I said, I can remember days, man, where Minister Kader himself wasn't too busy, would come up to the school, and talk to teachers on my behalf. And because like I said, it was so hard in the mosque, well, not in the mosque, but so hard growing up as a Muslim in mosque number 25 and going to the public schools. And like I said, we didn't have no Muhammad University of Islam. And so teachers literally would stick needles in your brain. I was going to school. I wouldn't talk about 24 hours in a day. I was 23 hours, 46 minutes and 56 seconds. That's how we were trained. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There wasn't no say you're not telling me, no, it's 25. I broke it all. No, it's 23 hours, 46 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yes,
So
sir.
says the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, other guys. We were trained, man, and we wasn't ashamed of it. And we had brothers and sisters, man, that made you proud. And that's what I got coming up in Muhammad Mosque number 25. So I mean, that was my first impression. That first fall and that winter changed my life. Changed my life, man.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And my sister says, peace family, Sister Naima. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum family. And Sister Salima sends the greetings as well. And thank everyone who continues to watch. You speak of your mother. What is her name?
My mother, her name is Sister Rhonda Muhammad. The herbal guru is what I call her. Certified herbalist. She's on Facebook all the time. She's sharing stuff about the different herbs, the turmeric. She's always talking about what to take to keep yourself healthy in this pandemic, without having to, go and get the jab and things of that nature. So that's my mother. I love her. Stuff she told me, years ago, I wish I would listen to, but it's starting to catch up to me today. And when I know when I was sick with COVID back in March, and I thank God because I have hypertension and I have asthma, and I suffer from asthma all my life. And some of the things that my mother told me to do is what kept me out the hospital and off a ventilator. So, man, but again, she got that teachers and trainer Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the leadership and guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and all of those in Muhammad Mosque number 25 under Minister Kader's leadership. That's where that training came from. So
praise be to Allah. And your amazing mother is in the comments and she says, Assalamu alaikum, she's mom. Praise be to Allah, Sister Rhonda. Thank you.
Like salam, man.
Yes, sir. Now because you said fourth generation, can you give us the name of the top, the first generation? Who would they be?
And my mother might have to correct me on some of this, but my cousin Matakwa, her children, and some of my other cousins that's up under her, then my mother, and then now is myself and my wife. And of course, my daughter, who will be a fifth generation, who's holding the fort, man. My daughter's so impressive right now. I mean, that's who's helping me right now while I'm down right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She's right now on really 1.5 meals a day. She's 11. And she's strict with it to keep me on point. You know what I mean? She's 11 and she on 1.5 meals per day. And she's so stern with it. When we're in the supermarket, there's nothing I can pick up without her taking it out of my hand, reading every little ingredient. And she's, well, no, Dad, this has soy in it. We can't have this. That even if I try to be sneaky and damn, I want this little thing, I take it out the cart and read it. No, that says soybean oil. We can't have that. So, man, again, we rolling, man.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. My next question for you is martial arts. You post a lot of clips about martial arts and you show some of the videos of you training. What is it about martial arts that you enjoy so much? What is it about martial arts that you enjoy so much?
Always been a fighter. Always been a fighter. My first trainers were my uncles, in particular my uncle Rodney, master fighter, man. He's one of them guys who never went to any formal school, but he just from fighting in the streets, just honed his skills from so many fights. And so that's the first person who introduced me to self-defense, taking care of myself, how to use my hands. And so as a young man, going all the way back to the age 4 or 5, I always boxed. Did a lot of boxing. a lot of wrestling, because that's what my uncles taught me. And once I again came to the mosque, I was introduced, because that's when, man, every mosque in America had somebody that taught martial arts. And so my first instructors in the world of karate, well, of course, the great man. I mean, can't say enough about him. Master Kerry Muhammad, Master Earl Muhammad, and the great hard-hitting brother Jesse Muhammad, who
Mm,
trained us all at Junior FOI.
mm,
And that's why I came up in karate and went to a lot of tournaments and stuff. And we were good, man. Me and my brother, twins, they were in the Saman Jihad, brother Jesse's children, brother Kerry's children. We all were good, man. And that was my first introduction to karate. And like I said, because of growing up in the Nation of Islam and going to these Caucasian schools, and like I said, we came with our suit and bow ties. And one thing about my mother, if she could send us to the best school, that's what she did. So we would live in East Orange and Newark, but we would go to school in like Bloomfield and Belleville, a lot of white children.
mm.
And if you think white people, the adults are hard with racism, white children are real hard because they ain't got no filter. They got no filter.
Yes, sir.
So they would, what do you niggas think you're salesmen? These are things they would say to me and my brother as children.
Mm,
Slap our briefcase out our hand, and we would fight, man.
mm.
And my brother wasn't as bad as me. He really went off my cue, but I was so bad and I was so fired up, man, with the teachers, Honorable Elijah Muhammad under Minister Farrakhan. Like I said, we talking 90, 91, 92, when the minister was on Donahue every day. So we coming to school and, children, especially white children, I always say this, and it's funny because I explain this to people how I came up, even to this day. And people think it's racist. Look, I don't care. It is what it is. I'm a realist. My tolerance with Black people is extremely high. I could take a whole lot from Black people, even talking to me, saying stuff. But my tolerance for white folks was always like this. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Don't insult me. Anything within, that's it. And so, man, I fought a lot.
Mm.
A lot of people up, and they would go to the high school. And we talk about elementary school, man. And they would go to middle school and get their big brothers, and I beat them down.
Yes, sir.
Because I was trained, the way I was trained hard. Like my uncles put the gloves on me and they fought me for real, man. When I would go to karate school, that's one thing about brother Kerry Muhammad, man. I love that brother to death for this. Brother Earl and brother Jesse would kind of take it easy on you. But brother Kerry would beat us down, man. He would beat us down. But it conditioned me, because I was catching a beat down from him so much in class that when I fought somebody my size, it was a wrap. And so bigger people that were bigger than me, even then, they couldn't handle me. It was a no-go. So that honed my skill and that made me stronger. It gave me more confidence, sometimes too much confidence. So like I said, in those schools, not only was I beating up the students, but then when one of the white teachers, especially the white men, pulled me to the side, hey man, and you can't be doing that, and where'd you get that from? And once I tell them, well, this is how I was raised under the teachers, well, he's a bad man, I punch him in the mouth. Don't say nothing about the minister as a little boy. And so those were the times where the minister Kader and the people had to come into the school, you know what I mean? Because I was hitting teachers in the face, man. And sometimes I was beating them up. You know what I mean? So as I got older, like I said, I started off in karate with brother Jesse, brother Earl, and then I started moving around as a little boy. May Allah be pleased with our great brother Shaquille Muhammad. A lot of people know him as Grandmaster Shaquille Thompson from Shaquille's Warriors. I went to him. His school was in Bloomfield, and I learned a lot under him. It was different people who would come in the community and teach, and so I was addicted. And so I would go to anybody that taught, especially if they taught it for free. I was there. So I learned a lot of martial arts, man, and I got real good. I say by the time I got about 15, 16, I was real good, extremely good. And at that time, I was, like I said, I was so good and so overconfident that I ain't back down from no fight.
Mm.
No fight. My brother came and told me something. Okay, cool. We fight it out. It didn't mean nothing to me, even grown men. And I learned early that ain't no 25-year-old, 30-year-old man gonna let a 15, 16-year-old beat him up. And so that's when people would come with the guns and the things like that. And then I said, okay, you know what? I can't keep doing this. And that's what humbled me. So I still practice, but I stopped getting into fights and stuff. I started learning to humble myself because it started to get dangerous. And I just kept training and kept training. And I had a fight. I was in a mosque. I was in a mosque at the time. And I was coming home from a mosque meeting. I don't know if it was a night meeting. It wasn't FOI class. I don't know, but make a long story short, it's about 20, maybe 22, 23. And this guy was fighting, man. He basically tried to strong arm me. Somebody who I knew growing up with, but they tried to take something from me, and I wound up we and this guy fighting. And I started the more the fight lasted, the more bruised I saw myself becoming.
Mm.
And so I wound up doing something to the guy, got him on the ground, and I jumped on the bus because I'm hitting this guy with everything in the book, and it's really not hurting him. And so once I did what I did something to him. I forget the exact thing I did. So I jumped on the bus and I said, man, went home and I said, you know what? I got to learn something more effective because I learned growing up, like I said, just a bruiser, just how to make blood baths out of people. That wasn't no longer working. And then I said, okay, I'm what if I have a suit on or something next time or both? I can't walk around looking bloody in a suit or even bloody in somebody else up in the suit.
Yes, sir.
So that's when I started looking for different alternative ways of utilizing my skill. And so that's how I got into the jujitsu and things of that nature. And so I'm looking around for something different. And about a year or two passed, I still couldn't find it. But I'm still looking, still training, but I'm still looking. And so I saw a video of the GM. And I remember, now I didn't know exactly what the GM did. I just remember if you grew up in the Eastern region, everybody knew at that time he was Professor Anthony when I was little. We all knew who he was.
Yes, sir.
And I just thought he just was a hardcore. I thought he did what I did, just make blood baths of people. You don't understand when you're little. But the video I saw, what made me think about it is I was watching The Minister. And you remember the old intros of The Minister where Brother Bird is talking, if I had 100 sheep and one get lost, and then they showed a little intro to the GM doing martial arts. And I said, damn, well, who was that? And the brother, oh, that's what I said. It is? Nah. Yeah, that's Professor. No, I know it's not. Boom. I started to do the research on what he did. And I got introduced to more videos. And I said, okay, I need to learn how to do that. Because he ain't ripping nobody's head off, but he getting them to stop doing what they're doing. And that was more befitting of the type of person I was becoming. I was less volatile as far as my anger. I know how to manage my anger. I wanted to be more of a savior in my community with the papers and whatnot, selling the final call. So I said, okay, I got to learn that because I can't just go out here and just punch people in the mouth, even if they swing on me. I got to find a better way that scares people off. And so, of course, he at that time I can't get to Chicago, and so I'm looking to see who else, do that. And I came across a video from our great Professor James Muhammad down here in the Delaware Valley out in Delaware.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I came across a video, and it was Professor James and some of his students on the video. And I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, that's the same thing. That's what the brother told me. The brother told me, man, now it's connected. okay, wow. But again, I'm still in New Jersey. I can't get out to Philly or Delaware. I mean, I'm in New Jersey. I'm like, man, I gotta find somebody out here. So one of the things that Professor James had, uh, he had a website. And so I clicked on the website, because again, it was very interesting. The video, man, he put together was all that. And I'm like, man, okay, I need to do that. He had the star and the crescent. So I said, okay, definitely. It's that's what that I ain't need to look no further. I ain't gotta try to make it all the way to Chicago to see the GM, you know, where this brother at. Damn, he in Delaware. I can't get there right now. I got to find somebody around me who do this. And so he had a website. And on his website, it was the names and the numbers to all the schools that taught that style of martial arts. So I said, okay, I started looking and I found the name, and it was in East Orange, New Jersey. And that's where I was living at. I said, cool. And I called the brother on the number. And the brother answered. His name was Alan Rivers. I'll never forget. And when I called him and I spoke with him and I told him, brother, do you teach this? I saw your name. And he said, well, I don't teach it anymore. So, but I know somewhere you can go to learn something similar. So he sent me to a school in Bloomfield, New Jersey. And they taught Eagle Claw Kung Fu. And I went there for like a month and a half. But I wasn't satisfied with it. But I went. And then I asked one of the brothers at the mines, because he did Aikido, which was the closest thing I could find to Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu. And he told me a brother to go to. But when I went to the brother was just dealing with women at the time. I said, okay, so I'm still training. So it was a brother who I actually grew up with. He was a little bit older than me. He grew up with my uncle, Shihan Raheem Muhammad. He was Sensei Raheem at the time. But Raheem is from East Orange. And I knew Raheem trained and did martial arts. And he was training brothers at our Newark study group. But again, I just was into training. So I said, okay, until I find that, Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu, I'm just training. Let me just go train with Raheem in my spare time. So I went over to Raheem. And the first day I got there, we got on the mats. He said, all right, so I'm going to introduce you to what we do. What we do is Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu. I said, get out of here. I said, you do Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu? He said, yeah. I said, brother Raheem, I've been looking like the last year and a half, 2 years for somebody that teach this. And I couldn't find nobody. He said, well, brother, I got you. And that's how I got into Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu. And the rest is history, man. From Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu, that opened up my mind. I got into Snooker's Root under, like I said, Shihan Raheem Muhammad. Muhammad Mas number 25, who at that time was Sensei Raheem. And I got a lot of training and timing with Raheem. And of course, I can't never leave out his teacher and our teacher, the great Chief Professor Ernest Miles, Ernest 4X Muhammad. That's who those two brothers, along with Shihan Kwasi Asante, got to give a big shout out to Shihan George Williams. And those brothers, man, they took care of me, man. And from there, I started doing other things. I dabbled in Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido. I forget the name of this Filipino martial art. I forget the name of it, but I dabbled in that. But those two brothers really helped me, get into Snooker's Root Jiu-Jitsu heavy. And like I said, I can't leave out Professor James Muhammad, because that was the brother who, again, me going to that website and watching that video, and that video blew me away, what made me say I gotta get into this. And even when I came into the city of Philadelphia, Professor James and his students, in particular Sensei Vaughn Muhammad, big shout out to Sensei Vaughn, man, brought me up to speed, took me under their wing, showed me the ropes, man, continue to pour wisdom and knowledge in me of the art. And man, the rest is history from there. Like I said, got into other things, improvised weaponry, and that's near and dear to my heart. I always talk about improvised weaponry. What made me get into improvised weaponry, because you can't. First of all, we know as Muslims under the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Guidance Minister Farrakhan, we don't walk around with weapons, right? But I saw a need in us understanding weapons and how to use them. And once you understand a weapon and how to use a weapon, then you can understand what you can substitute for it. You understand? So if you understand, it's almost like a chop, like chopsticks and spoons. They're eating utensils. So if you understand how to use a spoon, but you don't have a spoon, then you can understand how to substitute something for the spoon. And same thing with chopsticks, things of that nature. You know, if you don't have shoes, but you know the purpose of shoes, you can find stuff. So I found a lot of us didn't understand or know about weapons. So anytime I teach people about a weapon, I always show them the improvised alternative. And me being somebody with a daughter and a wife, especially in this last month, I was in a hospital in a rehab for a month away from them. And so me knowing weapons and the substitute for weapons or the improvised version and me showing them, I felt a little better because I know that, okay, my daughter may not walk around, you know, with a 6 foot, a 6 inch bleed, but because she know how to use it, now she can do the same thing with maybe a pencil. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or ink pen, or even if it was something she had to pick up off the ground, something that nobody would never think of to, you know, to use to defend themselves, but she know how to use it. You know, I always teach my daughter to have an equalizer. You know, I don't, and it's not to knock nobody. This is just my perspective, how I deal with things. But I don't teach her that it's a wise thing. I don't care how trained you are to put your hands up and try to fight back and forth with a grown man. It's just not intelligent and it's not realistic. It ain't reality.
I agree.
You can put your hands up and try to fight back and forth with a grown man, but it ain't gonna end well. But I guarantee you, if that grown man try to grab you, and I done taught you how to use a knife or a dagger, and you use something like this, which is a screwdriver, and I taught you how to stick it in his nose or his ear, I guarantee you that man will let you go. And so that's what got me into the improvised weaponry and things of that nature. And this, you know, this particular period in my life. So, you know, and I don't like to talk about it a lot because a lot of times when I talk about these things, you know, people, you know, accuse me of trying to make more of myself and things like that, you know, but I've trained a lot of people in improvised weaponry. I've trained a lot of people over the years, you know, in martial arts, you know. Uh, like I said, I've been doing it since I was 5. I'm doing it since I was 5. You know, I don't talk about rank. You know, I have rank and different things. I don't do a lot of talking about it because that invites, you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
invites a lot of negativity. But what made me start to put myself out there because I found a community of people who had the same concerns that I had, who have children and family members, and some of them have disabilities where they can't move and things like that. And so they wanted to learn different things. And like I said, me having a little girl, that's what really brought it to the forefront of my mind. People snatching little girls. I said, okay, I got to show my daughter something, you know, on the realer side of combat. You know what I mean? Because nobody is not going to wait, you know, for you to throw a punch, or they're not going to tap their hands if you're hurting them. That's not reality. You
I
know,
agree. I
if you
agree.
hurt them, they're going to try to do something to hurt you back. So I had to teach her how to get straight to the point, so you can get home and live, you know, to tell your story. And I found a lot of people who had that same concern, and so that's what had me start Survival 101 FD on the self-defense side. You know, I have the disaster preparedness side, but I have the self-defense side. And like I said, me being with my mostly women, you know, my daughter, my wife, you know, with my mother, around my mother-in-law a lot. You know, of course, I have my mother. You know, I have a sister in Delaware, and so it may be more sensitive to the concerns of the women. I said, okay, you know what? I got to give them something, you know, as they say, foolproof, so that you know it's straight to the point. Again, you ain't got to worry about fighting and swinging with a man back and forth. You know, just if you stick this pencil, you know, in this prostate, I guarantee you he ain't gonna try to do nothing else to you. Stick the pencil in this prostate, and then you know, move on. And I feel sometimes, you know, we get a little unrealistic in the world of martial arts, and you actually, man, you'd be surprised, man, because I've seen it, man. I've been to seminars, man, where I've had women try to punch me in my face, man. They really think they can beat me, and it's not me. I don't want to sound sexist because sometimes we take these things and we misconstrue it. It ain't a sexist thing; it's a reality thing. I can't beat John Jones straight up. I ain't gonna fight him straight up. John Jones getting stabbed with something, man. I'm
Yes, sir.
being
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
being
sir.
realistic, and we can't protect our family as men if we're not realistic. Now I can fight. I know I can fight with the best of them. I've been tried and tested, big bro. I know
Yes,
what I
sir.
can do. But John Jones is a world class. Why would I try to fight him? And so again, why would I tell my 160-pound wife to fight a man 6'2", 245? That's just not intelligent. I don't give a damn what she thinks she know. That's just not a smart thing to do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir.
man, stick that ballistic pin in his eardrum. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Stick it in his neck and then take off. That's reality. That's survival. And so that's what got me into this aspect, you know, like I said, of martial arts in this particular time of my life. Sorry to be long-winded.
No, sir. Beautiful. Excellent. And I want to thank you for your great testimony and transparency. And thank everyone who continues to watch People's Podcast. This is Danita Lake says all praise due to Allah. Sister Kos, her name is Kulsum Akbar says ASA was so beautiful in that time a Muslim was at home in any Muslim home, so straight with the teachings. Praise be to Allah. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube, sir. I have a story that I want to tell you about with the about what I agree with you about the women and fighting as well. But I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. I want to thank everyone for this month, and we come right back to our brother Derek. If you would like to be a sponsor or donor, please cash app the People's Podcast. Thank you very much for all of the sponsors and donors from all over the country, and the anonymous sponsors and donors that I've been getting from YouTube and from Facebook and Twitter, where everybody, we thank you all very much, and we're eternally grateful. Boom. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. If you need any of that, please reach out to Rashad, my Street Premier. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, both of which are on Amazon. Please go out and get both of those. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. And right here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the studio, we love our tiny dancers. Thank you very much. Our sister Rashida Rafat with Raw Communications. If you need copy editing, if you're working on a book and she's doing a 5-year anniversary special promotion, thank you very much, Sister Rashida Rafat. If you're working on a book and you need copy editing, content development, media relations, any of that, please reach out to Sister Rashida Rafat. She does an amazing job with Raw Communications. Thank you very much. Elevated Places with Sister Melba Muhammad out of Houston, Texas. That is an amazing school where they're making young kings and young queens, where I am what God says I am, out of Houston, Texas. Thank you very much. Please reach out to Sister Melba. Conflict Mediation, Squashing the Beef with Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad out of Austin, Texas. They do an amazing job in the community, squashing the beef, and we need that all over the country. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, with her amazing children's book, Children of the Most High, Raising Gods. Sister Fudia Muhammad, Giving Birth to Gods, How to Give Birth to a God. Sister Fudia Muhammad, thank you very much. Also, Brother Kenneth, Bowtie Making Extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth. If you are needing bow ties, please reach out to him. Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds. They are launching this upcoming Wednesday. They do an amazing job. It's a virtual school. If you want to send your children virtually back to school during the pandemic, please reach out to asiaticminds.com. Thank you very much, Sister Sherry Muhammad. Also, Dr. Henry M. Carter, right here, King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra with the K, which is on Amazon, and No Father, No Excuse, which is on Amazon as well. Thank you all very much for your continued sponsors and donations. Right back to our brother Derek. And thank everyone who continues to watch the People's Podcast. Have you ever, has the Most High Mitzvahs Farrakhan ever come to Newark while you were there? And have you ever had an opportunity to hold post forum?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
He's came to Newark a few times. I was blessed to hold post for him when he came to Newark. This was for, I believe, he came to the Women in Support of the Million March Center. He had a meeting with the gangs. So he had all the Bloods and the Crips in the city, and the minister addressing. It was actually on DVD. I forget the year exactly, but that was one time. You know, I was blessed to be right across from the minister, maybe about maybe 6 or 7 feet. And one beautiful thing, and I have to say this while it's on my mind, I have to give a big shout out to Minister Farrakhan's family. It's not often that you have Minister Farrakhan is very highly esteemed worldwide, you know, and I've been around highly esteemed people doing executive protection, things of that nature. And a lot of the family members of the highly esteemed people are very arrogant, very rude, short-tempered. They're just unpleasant, you know. And one thing I can say about Minister Farrakhan's family, you know, I say this all the time to anybody who would let me say it and hear it.
Yes, sir.
I've never ever encountered any rudeness. What's the word? Entitlement, type of feeling of entitlement, any of that from his family. They're always pleasant. They're always soft-spoken. They're inviting. They all come with a spirit of really of service, like the minister. So everywhere I've went, and I've been on post, and I'm just gonna be truthful, man. I've been on post, man, for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan many times, and the people who I've been around him, man, they're very rude, man. Very rude, you know, very dismissive. And on many occasions, it would be members of his immediate family who will come and correct those brothers, who will come and correct those sisters, and will make sure and come to me. You good, brother? Yes, sir. No. You know, no, it's not okay. Are you good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've never been on a check post ever where I have any of his children, whether it be our student supreme captain, or whether it's Brother Joshua, Brother Lewis, may Allah be pleased on any of them, and they just walk through check posts. Never. They all come. Hey, assalamu alaikum, brother. They submit. I've never seen them try to jump a line. I've seen all they stay in line. They don't try to jump in front of people in line. They wait. They check on you. I've been in many places. I've been on post, and Brother Joshua will come. Brother, how long you been here? Okay, no problem. We'll put you in and go get me some relief. And he personally bring me a water, something to drink. You all right? Brother Mustafa, man, many times. The brother's with him. And he'll stop and wait. No, brother, wait. Go through check posts. And he'll go through check posts. How you feel, brother? You good? You straight? You sure? Because if you ain't straight, you know how he is. You understand. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You sure? Because if you ain't sure, then ain't no shame in it, brother. We get you some relief. You go rest. You all right? Yes, sir. All right. May Allah bless you and your family. All of them, man. These are his family. I've been around his daughters, his wife, his children, his grandchildren. And I must say, they all, again, all of their spirits and their energy and love for the believers is genuine and it's real. And I'm saying that because I personally, this ain't me just going off of hearsay. So I wanted to put that out there because, like I said, I've been around a lot of people who have been held in high esteem, including in our nation. And the minister's family are such great reflections of him because they really care about people and they care about the people and they care about those who support him. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. That's one. Again, sorry for being so long-winded, but I had to say
Oh,
that.
no, sir. Praise be to
That
Allah.
was on my heart.
Yes, sir. What type of music do you like to listen to, Brother Derek?
I like all music. I like all music. I get judged a lot from some of the things I say about music. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One thing about music, I'm objective. I'm not so much of a fan, then I'm not objective. And I'm like that in sports and everything. It was for years, I believe Larry Bird was the best basketball player to ever live. And I got hit with that, man. What? Larry Bird? Not listen, for years, I didn't give it to Jordan until after 98. Be honest with you. I can remember back then, I wasn't alive for them 70s, but I can remember the late 80s, and I remember Larry Bird. And Larry Bird was killing everybody. Only rival to him was Magic. Jordan was good, same way like Giannis is good now. Jordan was doing Giannis type thing, killing everybody. So Larry Bird was the best. See, like I said, I'm objective. You got to prove it to me.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
Jordan came, and then I said, okay. Once the 90s start rolling in, man, I'm giving it to Michael Jordan. Now I give it to LeBron. That's just me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm the same way in music. People get mad at me because, again, I ain't a big Eminem fan, and I don't think he's corny. But well, you saying that because he white? Nah, it ain't because he white. I came up listening to Redman. Came up listening to people who Eminem look up to, like Tretch and Black Thought. And so he's good, but he ain't that good. It ain't got nothing to do with him being white. I really get killed for and people probably gonna kill me on this thread, how I feel about Lauryn Hill. And it ain't me knocking Lauryn Hill. I just don't think she have a catalog to be considered. And not the top 10, let alone best. She don't have a catalog to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Again, I'm objective. It's not because I think she's just whack, but Lauryn Hill to me is like Grant Hill or Penny Hardaway. Before they can get to do and show you how great they was, they stop.
Yes,
whether
sir.
it was injury, whatever the case. Some people say it was mental breakdown with Lauryn Hill. I'm a mental health advocate. I've been dealing with behavioral health since I was 17. That's my profession.
Yes, sir.
But again, when it comes to music, good, bad, or indifferent, she ain't put out no rap song since like 96, man.
No, I agree.
She ain't put out no rap song since 96. So I come on, man. I can't. So, like I said, when it comes to music, I'm objective. Man. You know what I mean? Griselda's my guys right now. Those are my guys right now.
Yes, sir. They go hard. They go hard. Okay.
But I'm not gonna put, and because I'm into Griselda right now, I'm gonna say, well, you know what? Somebody like, man, what's this young boy out here, man? He's my guy, man. Whining something, but I like him. The Baby. Been to the Baby. That's my guy. You know what I mean? I like Kendrick, but am I gonna put Kendrick over Jadakiss? No, I'm objective. I ain't putting him over Jadakiss. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm objective. You know what I mean?
So you have
like
so
Jadakiss, I don't
Jadakiss
put him
is
over KRS-One.
So Jadakiss is top 5 to you.
Well, I ain't say that. and see, people get on why Jadakiss ain't top, because again, I'm objective. Pac ain't in my top 5. I love Pac. Pac.
Okay.
But if I put Pac in a circle, and see, like I said, this is how I explain music with my wife. Me and my wife is a rapper, so we talk about music. It's categories to me for top 5. You have an overall, you know, I got a Mount Rushmore. People don't agree with my Mount Rushmore, but that's my Mount Rushmore.
Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Jay
Okay.
is my Mount Rushmore
Okay.
because Jay popped to me in any era.
Okay.
He can do it he can do it any way.
Okay.
He can get on the record with anybody. He can get on an R&B record. He can get on a rock record. Jay is in my top 5.
Yes, sir.
I got KRS-One in my top 5 because I'm just biased with KRS-One. So that's why he's my top 5.
Clearly, but okay.
You know what I mean? So Jay, but even if I eliminated KRS-One, I just go off of impact. Because like I said, KRS-One another category. But I got Jay in my top 5. I got Ice Cube in my top 5.
Okay. I got Ice Cube on the wall for sure. I
got Kanye. Everybody disagree.
Okay.
Kanye might be one. I don't give a damn what nobody say. And I can argue it and I can explain why.
Yes, I got Ye for sure.
Kanye is in my top 5. So Jay, Kanye, and
Ice Cube, KRS-One.
Is that those are 3. I may move KRS-One out and put this is a hard one. I might put LL there. That jumps around.
Okay. Well, I'm saying from your generation, to me, LL Cool J is the greatest rapper to come out of the 80s. Like that's he my favorite 80s rapper.
Mine too.
He's my favorite 80s rapper.
And people going to disagree with this one, but again, I'm just going by if I can put them in any era and can they fit in and can they adapt. Drake. People going to disagree.
Drake's on my. He's in my top 5.
That's my top 5. But like I said, I got categories.
He's in my top 5.
Go with lyric. We got what's called lyricists. Then that's a different category. If you want to go at people who you just don't want to be in a circle rapping with, that's another category. You understand what I'm saying? So it's different categories for me. Even when it comes to singing, you know, people get mad at me because I don't say Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston not the GOAT, not to me. Whitney Houston from my hometown. I got Mariah Carey over Whitney Houston.
Okay. Well, no, I mean me too. But I'm saying as long as they're right there. I mean, they right there. I mean, you know.
People argue with it. Like I said, I like pop, but I'm not I'm objective. I take the emotion out of it. Pac was an activist. He fought for something. So this is where emotion comes in with music. Same thing, like I said, with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn came in an era with girls where you had Lil' Kim, Foxy, and so now you got a dark-skinned, beautiful black sister rapping opposite of that. That brings hope. It brings a whole bunch of things. And so you take that and you equate that feeling with the music. And I agree. That's not the music. That's how. So same thing with Pac. Same thing with Biggie. Biggie ain't have enough stuff.
I agree.
Biggie not my top 5 in Brooklyn, let alone top 5 rappers.
I agree.
Because he doesn't have enough stuff. But if you go off the nostalgia and things like that, so this is how people look at Floyd Mayweather. Nah, he ain't. Floyd Mayweather, to me, he's the greatest boxer I ever seen.
I agree.
And I take the emotion out of it. People put better than Mike Tyson. Yes.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson got knocked out by a couple tomato cans, man.
Okay. Let's okay.
He's
up on the Tyson, but yeah, okay.
Listen, and this how again, because I'm a boxer, so I deal with it purely without objection on boxing. Look at the people he beat. He beat Mitch Green. He beat Quick Tillers. He beat over the hill Larry Holmes. Look what happened when Mike Tyson run into people that's not afraid of him and that can fight. He lose and he lose bad.
He lost bad to Lennox Lewis in Holyfield. He lost bad to him.
Bad. He lost bad.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He just lose. He lost bad. Even when he fought Francis Botha. And Francis Botha is not really on his level, but because he wasn't scared, he was fighting Mike pretty hard.
Yes, sir.
Pretty hard. So when he fought Holyfield the first time, Holyfield beat him easily, convincingly. Holyfield wasn't afraid of him. Then he fought him the second time, he beat him even worse.
Yeah.
To the point he had to bite the man.
Yes, sir.
So Mike is not in my top 5.
Okay, so this is what I say. Mike Tyson's my favorite fighter of all time. Not my favorite
and we
boxer.
and I
Not my
can
favorite boxer.
see I can't object to it. I can't. I never
Yeah, not
argue
my
with anybody
favorite
that say
boxer.
they
I go
favorite.
Mayweather for
I don't
boxing.
argue with it.
I go Mayweather. Mayweather's to me for boxing. I mean, he ain't lose. Like what we talking.
And people argument for Mayweather is, well, he ain't. He all he did was fight the top fighters. I don't understand where the argument comes from. All he did was fight the top. Pacquiao, and this is how we gotta look at it, because everybody when Mayweather beat somebody is an excuse. So when he beat Pacquiao, Pacquiao was over the hill. Yet Pacquiao come back and not only beat every opponent he had after that, but beat him down there convincingly. Even when he beat one of the top welterweights at that time, who was maybe one or two. Man, what's the brother name? Keith Thurman. And Pacquiao beat him convincingly. But when Floyd beat Pacquiao, Pacquiao was washed up. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like we moved the goalpost. Probably the number one draw in boxing right now, Saul Canelo Alvarez. But when Mayweather washed him, he washed him.
Yes, sir.
Well, he was young. He was still like 29-0 with 26, 27 knockouts. So again, if you take the just not being objective, Mayweather as a boxer, I ain't never seen nobody better.
No, me neither.
Sugar Ray Leonard, that goes for Tom. I think he would have beat them. I think he'd beat Tommy Hearns.
Easily. Tommy Hearns and them, they was out there just slugging, with all due respect. They was out there just street fighting.
Washed him. He'd have washed him. Maybe not Hagler, because Hagler was a little big. You know what I mean? So I don't think Mayweather would have supported him because he's smart. But he would have washed him.
Absolutely.
So like I said, I'm not biased, man. When it comes to any sports and entertainment, music, I'm not biased. I listen to all music. I listen to rock. I listen to pop. That's just me. And like I said, I try not to be. See, you can't enjoy things. I'm even learning about this in life. You can't fully enjoy life when you're not objective.
I agree.
You can't really receive things.
I agree.
You really can't enjoy life or even just get the full benefit of even learning more when you're objective. I mean, when you're not objective. And I learned sometimes with us, we are so stuck on what we want and how we think things should be because that's what we want in life, that we'll miss out on a whole lesson. We'll miss out on a whole
I agree.
Platform of just things that could be beneficial to us. Even when we're looking at it right now, I know plenty of people who are only taking the vaccine, and maybe I should have said another word because they flag everything when they hear that word. So let me change that. But I know people who only take this current treatment for this current virus or this pandemic. They'll only take it. They're only taking it because there's somebody in the White House right now who they voted and they like. Because the same Operation Warp Speed and pushing this treatment plan for this virus was under the last president.
Absolutely.
And the same people who saying you should all go get it, what's wrong with you, are the same people who was under the last. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't even trust it. Why?
I agree.
And they pushing the same thing, but because we're not objective to even look and say, wait, that's the same goddamn thing the old boy was saying.
Yes, sir.
We're not even objective. I watched the interview where the current president said, the current president and the vice president, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't trust them. Why it's coming out so fast? And less than 2 or 3 months later, you all need to take this. It came from the last boy that you don't like came over to you, just said, I wouldn't trust it. And you actually have people, no, you should do it. I heard Don Lemon, he's still talking about the last president. My old boy ain't been in office over a year. How's his fault? But because of not being objective, we miss out on stuff. I got people right now, they back. Like, you like Kevin Samuels? Yeah, I like the brother. You such a wait a minute. I don't live with him. I ain't say I'm taking him to meet my mama. I ain't said that I'm voting for him for president. No, I said I agree with that part because I'm objective. It is as I hate to say it, man, but it's sisters in our community, man, who have blocked me. I'm like, come on. See, and this goes back to my experience, man. And I tell this to my wife. This is why I was shaped differently under Minister Kade and Captain Majid, man. The stuff brother saying, I heard Captain Majid and Minister Kade say worse. You understand what I'm saying? Sharifa Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with her. She said worse. She has said worse to the sisters. You tell me something, Kevin, you mad because Kevin Samuels is saying that she has said worse, man. You understand? So I come from a different, man, like I'm, so that's offensive to you? Come on, man. So I don't, that's why I say I come from a different era, man. I come from a different era. And that's one thing, I'm learning to have to balance out because I'm dealing with people. See, we coming up, man, in the late 80s, early 90s, man, under this teachers and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, man, under them captains and ministers, man, and lieutenants, and the atmosphere, you had to be on your P's and Q's, man. And so all this stuff we seeing today, people getting sensitive and getting upset and all, man, there's a lot of stuff I want to say, but I can't, I can't say it.
Yes, sir.
But we soft, man. We getting soft, man. You got people who get mad because I say, hey, as a man, I don't want to be, having big, long conversations with transsexuals. What you mean? Oh, you got believers, man. And I say believers, not just believers in the teaching Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but whatever you believe in, Christians, and getting mad at people like Lil Boosie. What about what you, come on, bruh. Come on. Brother said, listen, I don't want my son to see no, right? What's wrong with you? What problem you got with gay people? Man, shut your soft self up. You ain't say I had a problem with gay people. I tell people all the time, because I got people who I went to school and they inbox me. Why you always talk about transsexuals? And I ain't talking about transsexuals and gay people. I'm talking about wayward foolishness, man. Because I say the same thing I say, you know what I mean, about what I see some of the people doing that may be homosexual. I say it about straight people. And we find excuses, man. No, stop, man. Ain't no excuse. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. If a grown man, ain't got to do it gay. If a grown man says, yeah, I'll take my clothes off for some children, in front of children for some money. Like Boosie said, he deserved his, whooped.
Yes,
Just like a grown woman would say that. Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to take my stuff off and shake it like my mama gave you. I kid you not, man, right now in the city of Philadelphia, they got stripper poles in some of the parks, and strippers come. The children playing in the parks. Strippers be sliding down poles, man. They need their behinds whooped. Ain't got nothing to do with sexuality because you straight. You know what I mean? No, you are taking your clothes off and shaking your backside in front of 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. Well, what about when Foxy Brown, man, miss me with that excuse? We make excuses, man. We make excuses, miss me with that. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, man, that's one of the biggest myths. Because I heard Angela Yee say that when she was talking to Boosie. Well, Boosie, gay people are 4 times more than likely. That's why, man, Angela Yee stopped that line. That's some BS. People get assaulted, period. You mean to tell me a person is 4 times more likely to get killed by the police for being gay than me for walking outside? We have shown, recent history has shown that that's not factual, sister. No, if you just down with just you want to be cool and everybody be gay, just say that. But I got the right to say, nah, I don't want that neither. And like I tell people, it ain't got nothing to do with boy being gay. It got more so boy being a butthole for attention. Straight up. I saw the thing with Lizzo. I like Lizzo. I like her music. But since people ain't against you because you big, they're against you because you big and you doing stupid stuff for attention. Because you're big. That's why you're doing it. For attention. It ain't got nothing to do with you being big. You just hate fat people. Man, get out of here, man. Black folks been fat, man, since pig feet and fat back. I ain't gets no damn Stop that BS, man. You're just doing stupid stuff.
Okay.
And we in our community have become sensitive to people correcting us for doing stupid, you know what stuff. I ain't gonna curse on your platform, but you know what I mean
Yes,
when
sir.
I
Yes,
say
sir.
these things, bro. We have become, as a people, we have started to do stupid, foolish things, and we use these foolish coverings to make it, comfortable. RuPaul been gay as long as I can remember. And I don't know nobody in our community saying we're gonna get RuPaul and we're gonna do, because he is who, he's just gay. But RuPaul ain't trying to go on Sesame Street with a thong. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Boy George, I ain't thinking about George Michael. Come on, man. In our community, we have Paul Whitfield. Paul Winfield been gay as long as we knew.
Oh, I didn't know that. The one with the deep voice?
Paul Whitfield that played King, openly gay.
Oh, I didn't
But
know
see,
that.
you know why you ain't know it? Because it wasn't a big deal, brother Joshua. That's why you ain't really know.
Man, from
Because
City Confidential with the scary voice?
no. Paul Winfield, he played Martin Luther King. What else Paul Winfield
Yeah,
played?
yeah. He was a voice on this TV show called City Confidential, where it's like in the
Gay.
scary.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't know he was gay. I didn't know. Yeah.
James Baldwin was openly gay.
Yeah. James
And I don't hear no black person in their right mind who understand our fight and our journey here in America and civil rights that throw James Baldwin under the goddamn bus. We don't do that because that didn't matter. He wasn't, yeah, I'm gay, baby, so I'm gonna do all of this stupid. Nah, man, that didn't even matter. So when people mad at people like Lil Nas X, ain't got nothing to do with you being gay, man. It got something to do with you being a butthole for white people that don't like to do nothing but make us look like buttholes in front of the damn world. Okay? That's what it is. Now explain this to people. People ain't got no problem with Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. So don't hit me with Foxy Brown. No. But we do have a problem when you know that old white men view black women as plaything, and you make a video just to do it with old white men, and you sitting on you know this, sister, and you know for a fact they're doing it to make a mockery. That's why people are upset.
Mm.
Why we act like we don't know these things? So like I said, when I hear believers saying, "No, let me get out my face." I came up from brother Kadir is like your father. They meant a few words. They don't got a big fancy vocabulary. They just slap you with real stuff in your face. You understand what I'm saying? They slap, man, get out my face. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's the Supreme Captain, who's Supreme Captain most of my life, your father. You understand what I'm saying? And I came up under Minister Kadir and Captain Majid. They straight cut and dry. It's stupid, just stop. Period. Man. Like some things we we stretch out, man, to have these open-ended debates that we really don't have to debate about. Lizzo, anybody care about you, big? That's foolish. But why would you come to a Los Angeles Lakers game with jeans on with the butt out? Come on, sister. That just is why? Because I'm fat? Come on. Come on. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. And right there, a lot of people are agreeing with you and showing love to Marva Muhammad. Sister Heaven Muhammad says she feels you, brother, with the sensitivity, suck it up. 80s and 90s cut from a different cloth. Sister Marva says she heard about that. Those poles are actually there. She didn't know. Engaged during that time, just lived their life. Excellent. Okay, Brother Derek, I have one more question for you, sir. What would you like your legacy to be?
Huh?
What would you like your legacy to be?
Honestly, somebody who, I don't want it to sound cliche, but I'm serious when I say this. Somebody who actually made the world better while they was here. It was better when they arrived, and they made it so that it was better. My arrival made it better, and I set forth a path that even when I'm going, for it to continue to grow and be better. I don't know if that made sense. You understand what I'm saying?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Basically, me coming here, learning and acquiring skills, using my talents to make these things, make the world better, and then using those same talents to give to somebody else, help somebody else to, when I'm not here, they can now use their gifts and talents off of some of what I gave them to make the world better. And so, like I said, that's one of the big things I do with disaster preparedness, my safety and survival training. You know, I teach it to my daughter. I teach it to children. I've taught it to children in the community. I've taught it to people in the community. You know, and it's all free. I do
Great.
this
So,
stuff for free.
but Derek, I had
But
a question. How can people reach out to you and get some of that training?
I'm on Instagram, and that's at Survival 101 FD. So that's the
Okay.
word survival. The number is 101 and the initials FD. Of course, I'm here on Facebook. I can be reached on Facebook. Uh, Derek Forex. That's who I am on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel
Okay.
that's called Survival 101 for Dummies. And I'm currently working on an ebook and a few NFTs. And with the NFTs, and man, that's a whole new market, man. I think all Black folks should get into it. But basically, with this ebook and the NFTs that I'm working on, I'm putting out a free ebook that's just dealing with different aspects of safety training and survival. And the NFT that I'm attached to it, that I will attach to it, is every month I'll give out some free advice on different aspects of disaster training, disaster preparedness training, safety and survival. So 1 month I may deal with how to recognize the different plants in the urban community that can help you out. How to spend $20 at a dollar store to effectively stock your home over a month. So how to go off of $20 a week or $80 a month and to effectively build a survival kit in your home. What type of medicines that you should get out of the dollar stores. There's different things, like I said, in our community that Black people haven't learned about because traditionally we have waited for FEMA and people of these other organizations to do for us for what we can do for ourselves. You know, so something as simple as a lot of Black folks don't have medical insurance. So they get certain ailments, certain illnesses, and they don't know how to treat themselves. And I can show you, even on a small budget, what medicines, what medication you can get out of a dollar store to take care of yourself if unfortunately you don't have medical insurance and you can't wait. We see right now what they're doing with this again, I ain't gonna use the V word, but this treatment plan for this current pandemic. They're forcing people to do certain things, and if you don't do it, they're withholding services. So I'll give you an example. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I was in a car accident again, as I said earlier, back on June 28th, head-on collision, and I broke my leg and I tore some tendons in my leg. And I went to one hospital, and I'm gonna be honest, man. They started treating me one way, and then they, as the question to come up, $64,000 question: are you vaccinated? No, sir. You want to get vaccinated? No, sir. And the treatment started dipping. Sit in the room for a long time. I rang my call bell. The excuse was, well, because you're not vaccinated, we don't know if you can. All this BS stuff. And so I wound up leaving that hospital and going to another hospital. And my wife and my mother can bear witness because, I talked to them through the whole ordeal, and even some of the FOI. And when I went to the next hospital, they treated me a little bit better, but then I was transferred to a rehabilitation center for inpatient rehab where I had to learn how to basically walk again because my leg was so messed up. And they asked me every day, every single day. I was there for about 34 days. And every day they would come in there, sir, you vaccinated? You want a vaccine? Sometimes the same person, I'm telling you, you already know, I told you yesterday and the day before yesterday and last week, but you sure? No. So they was withholding snacks from me. They sent pork to my room a couple of times. They tried to give me the wrong medication. And because of my training, I know medications, I know how they look. I'm a certified pharmacy technician. Well, I say I was certified as a pharmacy technician. So I know the different names of drugs. I know how the pills look. Okay. I know how to read a medical administration record. So I know all those things. So they was bringing me pork. Well, no, I don't eat that. And they would take it back, but then they may not bring me lunch. And so I wouldn't eat lunch, but it's okay because I'm Nation of Islam. I've been training for one meal a day, so it's cool. I wouldn't say nothing. But they would bring me pork. Well, no, I don't eat this. Even though I clearly told you when I go in the hospital, I tell them I'm allergic to shellfish and I tell them I'm allergic to pork. So you don't even know you don't need to even bring it. They brought me shrimps when I told them I was allergic to shellfish. And they do it one time and maybe it's a mistake, but 3, 4, 5 times, okay, you're doing this on purpose. Then they came and they tested me every day for 2 weeks. So I was okay, you know what? You're not gonna keep sticking out on my nose. Give me an oral swab because I understand medical terminology, and we can all do this research. I understand different things. So okay, so they started mistreating me. Like I said, gave me the wrong medication. I would look at it. What's this? Oh, that's such and such. No, ma'am, I don't take that. No, yes, you do. Nah, I don't take that. No, yes, you do. Go pull up my medication. Go pull up my MAR. Let me see the MAR. Oh, we can't do that. It's confidential to who? It's medication I'm getting. You just told me I'm taking it, so I can't look at the. Let me speak to the nursing supervisor. And 4 different occasions they tried to give me the wrong medication. And so when you have an understanding of certain things, you don't have to depend on them. Because in my mind, and like I said, this is just my life. I'm a disaster preparedness guy. So I already got my plan if I had to leave that hospital by myself. How I'm even on a high boot leg. And I encourage all people to know that we all should know at least 2 to 3 different routes from everywhere that we frequent, even if it's on vacation. So it means you're gonna have to do some recon. You're gonna have to pull out the maps and the map quest. And it's easier now because people don't know how to read maps no more, but it's okay. You got a computer in your hand, computer in your pocket, print it out on MapQuest. 3 or 4 different ways on how you have to leave, what type of terrain you got to try. So I already got that mapped out of my mind. If I got to leave this damn hospital, if I got to leave this place, because I don't trust them. And it wasn't until it was a few Muslim sisters up there. And that's why it's good for us, like I said, to be objective and be open-minded. Hey, I'm in the nation, you're in the Sunni community, no talk. No, I ain't had that spirit. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. I talked to them the same way I talked to the MGT. And those sisters took care of me while I was in there. No, Mr. Smith, no. Let me check that plate. It's pork. I'm gonna take it back for you. Like, damn, sister, they just sent, they know. I know, don't worry about it. You see what I'm saying? And even in there, I had a wound on my leg. Big wound. And they were trying to give me the wrong medication for it. And I needed a certain type of ointment for it. And they wasn't bringing it. But again, because I know what to get from the store, I gave a Muslim sister $20 and I sent her to the Dollar Tree and she bought me some supplies up there. So they wanted to keep me in that place through September. And they kept moving the goalposts in my treatment. So of course, like I said, my leg is broke and I suffered some tears. But again, from my FOI training, my martial art training, I was in my room, even on bed rest, doing leg exercises. And I bought me some activated charcoal. I know how to make it's called a poultice, Poultice. And so I made me a little concoction and I was putting that on my leg because they wasn't giving me the right cream for my leg. And they tried to keep me on oxycodone. And I was on oxycodone for 2 days. And I said, nah, because I'm not getting addicted to this stuff. Nah, you sure you can take? Nope. And so they withheld Tylenol for me for 3 days. I sent the sister to the store. They kept the air conditioner on. See, I know the game. So now I get a little cough or you sick and they'll try to come up with some way to get me vaccinated or something. I sent that sister to the store. They were folding my Tylenol and making a room cold. Here you go, sister, $20. She went to the store. She got me some vitamin C. She got me the charcoal tablets. I had her get me some Tylenol cold because that it has the Tylenol, which I needed for the pain, but it also had man, I forgot how you pronounce this word, guaifenesin, guaifenisen, and that's basically what you find in pineapples and things that it's basically to help cough and mucus build. So I was taking the Tylenol cold pills. I was taking the vitamin C. I sent her there to get me some cans of sardines for the vitamin. I did all this off of $20, brother.
Mm-mm.
The can of sardines, and that was for the vitamin D. And I had to get me some pepperoncini, and that's like the pickled vegetables, just in case I got to stay in that room, and they don't, because they had me isolated in the room by myself because I don't want to get vaccinated. And so for 3 days, like I said, they bought me the wrong food, they didn't give me the right cream for my wound. And so I was using the charcoal pills. Some of them I took orally, and some of them I broke open, and I made a little poultice out of that and the Vaseline that they was giving me in the hospital, and I put that over my scar so that I could start to close up and heal up. All right.
Praise be to Allah.
And I had the nurse and they bring me some bandages. But the point that I'm making is when we don't know these things, we now have to wait on somebody to come do for us to save us when we can save ourselves. So that's one of the things I share on my page, my different pages. You know what I mean? Again, I don't teach people how to make fires with sticks and stuff. I can, but I teach people, I call it Survival 101 for dummies. Not that people are dumb, but I make it so simple that even if you are dumb, it's hard to not understand. So instead of telling people how to make fires with sticks, I tell them be smart, get a bunch of waterproof matches. They're at the dollar store. You can get 300 for $1. Why get stuck out there? Put them in a Ziploc bag, which is waterproof. Keep them in your glove compartment. If you ever get trapped somewhere, there you go. I teach people how to make first aid kits because we ain't going in no hospitals to get it. So I teach you what to get. You can get you some Neosporin and work just as fine as what's in the hospitals from the dollar store. Like I said, if you understand medical chemistry and things like that, you can get the activated charcoal and you can make something and you put that on a wound, a snake bite, whatever the case may be. Those are things I teach it from a simplistic, a simple way of living, because most of our people that's in the community that need the most on Section 8, they're limited, they're on EBT. And so we got to make it, I make it affordable and I make it understandable so that when all of this stuff happens, and we see it's happening now, they stop people from going to the grocery stores and things like that. And you can't eat at that restaurant. That's okay. I ain't got to eat your restaurant. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to go here. I don't need to go there. Well, you can't come here. Your children can't. Fine. I know what to do. And so that's how I teach it. You know, I teach you what to have on your person every day. When you go out at certain things, I never leave the house without. Never leave the house without a flashlight. I never leave the house without emergency medication. I never leave the house without some type of improvised weaponry. And I never leave the house without a plan, meaning a plan if I can't come back home, or plans for wherever I go, how to leave that place. And that just takes some time, some recon. I don't give a damn if it's Walmart. I don't care if it's the gym. Everywhere I go, I know where the exit is. If I don't know where the exit is, I don't enter. I don't know how to leave, I don't go in. These are things that we need to retrain our mind as Black folks.
Yes, sir.
Because we got people out here that don't care about us. And we, even ourselves, we have to make plans on not waiting on nobody. I even tell this to the Muslim because we use this line as Muslims out of context. And that line is wanting for your brother what you want for yourself. You have a half a bowl of bean soup. That bean soup is your brother's. Yes, true. But again, I learned from the best. Let me give him a shout out because who gave me a lot of my training, Brother Rudolph Muhammad out of Detroit, Michigan. That's why I got a lot of my training from Brother Rudolph Muhammad out of Detroit, Michigan. Used to be in Mosque number 7, and Brother Forrest Muhammad from Mosque number 7. So I want to give them two brothers a big shout out, as well as Brother Eitan Muhammad. That's who gave me a lot of what I'm telling you now, just from a thought perspective.
Yes, sir,
You know,
yes, sir.
but a lot of times we, like I said, we use that line, have the half a bowl of bean soup, to think we're entitled to it. And again, yes, it's yours. But if you all the way in Atlanta and I'm all the way in Philadelphia, and I don't learn what to do to make my own bean soup, even if I got a half a bowl, you can't come get it. You understand?
Yes,
And
sir,
I
yes,
can't
sir,
come
yes,
to
sir.
you and get it.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So you need to learn what to do for you. I tell believers, even in my city, listen, man, if it's a countrywide blackout, see, now you got to understand Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, and it can be proven at no limited time. You got to think of the domino effect. The blackout causes the hysteria. The hysteria and panic causes a person to now act other than themselves. Pandemonium, all of that is happening. Now when the daytime comes, people come out and they look, and then now you see all the looting and the ravishing and all of that. So I tell people, when that happens, the police that you thinking is coming to save you, they looking to save themselves and their family too. So you're on your own. So all the criminals that the police said ain't thinking about them, so them people is roaming the streets. The rapists who are basically held back by police and community watch, ain't no community watch. So they looking to do whatever they got to do. The dogs that people can't feed after a month or two, they throw in the street if they don't eat them. So dogs and animals are smarter than people. The dogs will pack up. So now you got wild packs of dogs running the streets. What you gonna do? I can't call Brother Captain, call Brother Lieutenant such and such, and you can't do that at that time. Wild dogs roaming the streets. All the people you see in what's called the residential healthcare facilities or the crazy houses where you walk past and you see about 10 people on the porch smoking cigarettes back to back. Who feed them? You see what I'm saying? So now they leave and they're, so you got crazy people, you got animals, the stores ain't got nothing. What you gonna do? We can't run in the streets and fall in ranks. There ain't the time for that. National Guard ain't coming out because they ain't the time for that. It's what you call every man for himself.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
And like I tell brothers, and it's something I heard, may Allah be pleased with him, great Captain Sterling Muhammad. I heard him say this out his mouth. Brother, if I have to come and take care of your wife and children, then they're my wife and children. And that's how the pecking order works when it comes to survival. If you got to call another man to come to your house and bring you food and protect you, then the women in your house is his women. How do we? So again, it's a certain mindset. So point that I'm making is learn how to take care of yourself while you can. It's everything out here for us to do, and that's one of the things that I try to do is teach and train people on how to take care. One thing I heard Bruce Lee say is not that I'm a master and I can make you a master. I just show you things that you can put to use to make yourself the best version of yourself. I'm not teaching you nothing from me to make you a master. I'm giving you tools so that you can use them and make the best version of yourself. So I may store Benadryl because I got an allergy problem. But if you got an asthma problem, you store asthma medicine. I'm just giving you the tools and putting it on your brain to do. So that's what I try to do at Survival 101 FB.
Praise be to Allah. Well, excellent. I hope everybody's supporting. A lot of people showing you love on Facebook. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Thank everyone for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the People's Podcast. I want to thank you for your sacrifice, Brother Derek, and the sacrifice of your family, sir. May Allah continue to bless you and your family and everyone who's watching. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.